Okay, so hello. Today we're going to be looking at Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber's I Don't Care. We're going to watch the video and see what exactly the message of it is and try to line it up with the lyrics if possible. Just to give a little context, it's currently at trending number 26 and it's at roughly 33 million, so it's getting there. It's probably gonna get a lot more views than that later on, so let's watch the video and see what it's about. Okay, so first of all, we see Ed Sheeran sitting in the middle of this fancy dining room, and he seems to be, dressed for the occasion, but at the same time out of place because he's not sitting at a table, and obviously nobody's looking at him. He seems to be alone, and he doesn't seem very happy. Yeah, so that's that so far. Okay, so he says, I'm at a party I don't want to be at. I don't ever wear a suit and tie, so that kind of follows up with the fact that he doesn't feel like he belongs there, and he definitely does. He's not there voluntarily. So let's see what happens next. So nobody's looking at him in the eye, and he's trying to figure out how to sneak back. So obviously, how he's dressed, this formal, proper attire, doesn't align with, I guess, like his personality of wanting to like sneak out the back. Obviously there's this like fakeness versus realness contrast already happening. He's real and the world around him is fake. And I've seen this video before, so I will kind of spoil it. And the reason why he looks slightly out of place, even more than usual, is because this is a green screen. The world projected behind him, this fancy dining room, is just a projection on top of a green screen, and what's real is Ed Sheeran. He's in front of a green screen. That's the reality. So he wants to dance, and there's this other person involved. So there's his partner, assuming, because this person wants to dance with him, and he's like, hell yeah, I want to do that. And then it goes on. I should probably try. Oh my gosh, there's no I can't put the CC, the words up. Okay, anyways. Don't think I fit at this party. Okay, so it doesn't feel like he belongs, and already we start seeing him becoming all these, interesting, he becomes a panda. There's all these like other things happening, like this colorful stuff. So they're definitely making use of this green screen that I mentioned, and things are becoming a little bit funky. He's wearing a robe, so he definitely, that goofiness is coming out, the playfulness is coming out, and it's definitely, again, in contrast with the formal stuff, and definitely the formal stuff is being critiqued as not the good things, in simple terms. Okay, so now we see something different. We see people having their face photoshopped with like I think that's a donkey, which is reference to being like an ass, Shakespeare. Definitely not like smart, kind of like just a joke. So everything is a joke. People are a joke. All this stuff is a joke. Reality, or not the reality, but what's projected is a joke, and what's real is Ed Sheeran, the fun, the color, and all that stuff. Not taking life too seriously, I guess. Oh, so he says, I always feel like I'm nobody. Okay, well, I wonder why that is. Let's look at the lyrics. So before that, he says, everyone's got so much to say, yeah, I always feel like I'm nobody. So maybe it's because no one's listening to him, everyone's just talking. And then it continues on to say, who wants to fit in anyway. So it's about, so he feels like a nobody, maybe because he doesn't fit in and he doesn't feel noticed. But then he goes on to the chorus and says, because I don't care when I'm with my baby. So he's like, but when I'm with you, all of that goes away and I feel like I fit in. I feel like I'm noticed. I can deal with the bad nights. And I don't care as long as you hold me near. So maybe there's like a proximity to it as well. Maybe people are distant. People are not, interacting with one another face to face. People are interacting on their phones. So maybe that's why he feels like he belongs when he's with another person, because it's actually real. It's like within proximity. That's possible. But interestingly enough, there's no like, oh, wow. Okay, wait, I should probably point that out because that's interesting. So over here, we see all these, like, I think that's Justin Bieber in a corn suit, like, going on behind all this, whatever's happening. No one knows. But he disappears. So it's like, oh, so this allows the viewer to realize, oh, right, it's a green screen. But at the same time, the person who when Ed Sheeran disappears here, he reappears now. So, I mean, you could potentially look into that and be like, well, he's escaping this and replacing this fake world with maybe his own world and his own imagination, which is all these like rainbows and this cartoonish stuff. And the chorus is happening. I wish I could like put the song in it, but there's like copyright stuff that doesn't allow me to do that, so that kind of sucks. But I mean, I think you get the gist of it just from like hearing the words, just looking at the words, and also looking at the visuals. So I think the croppedness is like really bad editing, is just kind of to show authenticity maybe, and just to be like, no, this is like real, this is the not taking life too seriously kind of thing. Yeah, because there's like no color scheme, there's no color matching, there are no filters, it's just very cut and choppy and random, and I think that's what they're going for. They're going for like this, who cares? We can put in anything and it doesn't matter who's in it. That looks like an elementary school. Something you would get off of, what do you call? Shutterstock or something like that. It just does not look great. Visually appealing in my opinion, but at the same time it's fun and who cares? Hence the name of the video, I don't care. And yeah, I mean, I think this, you could also, if you really want to look at it and be like, okay, what is reality? Is it this projection? That's reality. Is it this dream world? That's reality. Does reality even matter? Is it Ed Sheeran right here? Is that reality? And then you can even take it another step and be like, okay, no, the reality is me, the person commentating on it and reading it from my computer and watching this video. This video in and of itself is not reality. The reality is outside of a screen. It could be, commentating that as well. Yeah, and it's definitely playing with like, what is an image? What do you see? Is it pixels? Is it, just reflection? Is everything just a projection? Technically yes, but technically no. I think it's playing into that, because you can see it here where Justin Bieber is just like an image, a cutout figure, but at the same time all these people are also cutout figures. So it's like, okay, wait, what's going on? What's real? What's not? Okay, and then you see, yeah, you even see like this, like, who am I, what is real, what is not real. You could even be like, okay, well, does that have to do with, like, an identity crisis thing? Because look at this. This is not, well, that could very well be a trend, but I think his face is, cropped up onto another person's body. I think that's what it is. It could still be him and still copied onto it, but I doubt it. Yeah, and it's just random. You have like all this kid stuff. You have hint of technology. I think most of these pictures are from Shutterstock. Like, I would not be surprised. You got technology. You have, American culture. You have British culture. You have the world. You have a little bit of like Caribbean vibes. You get behind the scenes stuff. You get a lot, and it's not really clear, but I don't think it's supposed to be. Oh, you see, and then you see another thing where his actual body is like invisible. So, you could also look into that. Oh, that's interesting. So, this is the thing I was telling about how you can, what is reality? Is it what you're watching, or is it what's within what you're watching, or is it like the fact that you are watching something? So this is, I think, kind of portraying that. Is it, well, everything you've been seeing so far, it's like everything you've been seeing so far is you watching the screen. So it's just pixels. Technically, it's not real. And then you have, like, you can see the code and stuff like that. Like right there with the numbers and all those hidden things. And this is interesting because you see all these green screens, but then it changes to that. So that's definitely, there's no green screen here at this point. So that is definitely real. But then again, is what's projected on the green screen what's real? Or is it this world over here that's real where Ed Sheeran is dancing? Because it seems that he exists here, but he also exists here. So it's like, oh, okay, so both are real. Maybe it's a relationship between the two and knowing when to come out and when to not come out. It's like, is reality like when you are invested in your music and creating, art, or is reality the actual you putting the pencil on the piece of paper and making the art? I think it's like a relationship between that and trying to talk about that maybe. And also trying to bring in the aspect of technology and being like, okay, you are watching a video. Is the reality you processing the video, or is the reality, you watching the video on wherever you're watching it, in a cafe, on your phone, in your living room, in your bed, wherever that is. So that's all I have to say. I mean, that's how I interpreted it. And I hope you enjoyed it.